Hey, welcome back to the VET S.O.S podcast. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S lifeline. Man, excited today. Sitting down with Adam Bird of the Heroes Media Group. Great all around dude. This is going to be a great conversation. You definitely don't want to miss this. And as always, I'm proud to be here with my partner in the base of our 2025 Chicken Fighting Championship team. How you doing today, Keith?
You know, every week you throw these questions at me, but this one there are too many jokes that I can't say on the air to answer this one, and I can't think of any that I can say on the air right now. So yeah, we're gonna leave that one alone. But it's great to be here. And I was gonna say too, everybody, they see the show, you get the intro, and then we come on. But we usually are chit chatting before we hit the record button. We need to have outtakes because that was a classic. We really have to have like pre-show clips or something, like behind this curtain.
There you go. We'll have to start a membership thing.
Of
paid membership to get all that access there.
There you go. I like that. Paid membership. Put us on Pepperbox with all those other guys where we can do unedited stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you when I wrote that intro, I was laughing about half the day, just picturing you like with your head barely above water, trying to keep me on your shoulders.
Oh, see, I was thinking of like cockfighting, like chicken fight.
No.
Oh,
chicken
you're talking about on
man.
the shoulders.
Yeah.
See, that's context, man. Holy cow. I was thinking like we're having like a cockfighting ring going on. And
I was right there with
Michael Vick.
Okay,
that's where my mind went too. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, now that you got me picturing you on my shoulders, holy crap. Yeah,
See, now that's where the pictures come into play. That I got to start getting these
AI
out there.
Photos you wanted.
Yeah.
Wants to do these AI photos for every episode.
For all the listeners and viewers, there's that image for you. Have a great day on that one.
Absolutely.
We've already ruined this episode. Let's go.
Adam's like, well, why do I deal with these people? This is
for this. It's this stuff right here.
We're sitting down with Adam Bird, military veteran, entrepreneur, and CEO of the Heroes Media Group. He is widely recognized for his leadership and expertise in podcasting, media, and business development. As the founder of HMG Beverage, co-founder of JB Audio Clothiers. Clothiers? I know I'm saying that wrong.
But anyway, these show notes. You think you know how to say what you write. Yeah.
Oh man. Cut and paste is a great thing. And co-founder of the Maker's Machine, a business networking and accountability group. Adam blends innovation with purpose across industries. His mission is to empower veterans, first responders, and community heroes through meaningful platforms and ventures. Adam, man, I'm so happy to have you on here today, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here, guys. Appreciate it.
I'm sure you're
always a good time, man. Always a good time.
What did I get myself into? Oh man. So let's start with your transition, man. Before we get into Heroes Media Group, tell me how your transition out of the military went.
Sour. So I was a guard guy. So I was already, I had a civilian job doing the guard thing. And when I was transitioning out of at the time, I got out early. I had re-enlisted, and this was like 2006, 2007 time frame, was getting ready to do another deployment. And I was a single parent, and I had custody of my son. Other parent wasn't in the picture, didn't have a family care plan. So it was just kind of like, it asked my parents to, hey, I'm going to do this deployment or I got to go. I don't remember. It was trying to get on a deployment, and I think the hurricane, so it was probably 2006 time frame, down in Louisiana happened, and the transportation company that I was with wanted me to come back. I was in an instructor position somewhere else, and I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back doing that. She's like, yeah, you are. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. I'm not doing that. And in the guard at the time, if you lived 50 miles away from your unit, it was considered a hardship. And then being a single parent, that was the other thing. And it got into a heated argument that I will admit I said some things I'm not proud of. But I was just like, I tell you what, here's what we can do. You can take the second half of my re-enlistment bonus, and I told them what they could do with it.
buy more
The little
supplies.
hand,
and
little hand signal. If
the
you're listening,
IG's
you got to turn on the
yeah,
video so you
yeah,
can see the little hand signal.
yeah,
Go do.
and the IG's office was just like, all right, well, we'll give you a call tomorrow. I was out the next day, like it
Wow.
was cut dry. Like, oh, okay, I peed in somebody's cornflakes, bitter about it, whatever. And I was bitter for years about it because I had planned on retiring at that point, but I got out at 9 years, and it was a blessing in disguise. Later on in life, I realized it was a huge blessing, but it was bitter. It was the transition at first was very bitter.
I get that. I mean, and that hands down, probably the fastest transition we've heard so far. I mean,
It they didn't waste time. No, it was just kind of like, oh, this guy's going to be and I was a different person back then. I wasn't the nicest person, and it was yeah, it was just like, fine, here you go. You know,
not the big cuddly teddy bear you are today.
no, not nearly. Certainly wasn't that.
I remember we had a new general come in, and he did top to bottom sensing sessions. Like you had to do with every part of your org, enlisted, junior enlisted as a whole, NCOs as a whole, senior NCOs, warrants, everybody. And I basically called out the boss in one of those, saying, you don't care about us. And next day I was moved. I was like, that's efficient.
Yeah. I'm surprised I've lasted this long in life, as much as my mouth has gotten me in trouble. But young and dumb and full of piss and vinegar, and you realize that those are life lessons, and fortunately for me, I look back on that and I realized that I was in the wrong and a lot of that stuff. But at the same time, it was like it set me up for where I am today. So it was, as bitter as I was for many years, it was, like I said, a blessing in disguise looking back on it.
Yeah, I get that. And I think I'm in the same boat. I'm still amazed at my ability to step in it.
Yeah. I think the nice thing, though, Shawn, now is that we're in different positions where, like, when we do step in, and it's like we really don't, at least for me, I'm just kind of like, just keep going, wipe your foot, and go on. I don't care. I'm just like, there's a lot of gray here, and it's like I'm at that point in my life where it's just like, if I step in it, I might slip, but I ain't gonna fall at this point.
Nice. All right, so we'll call you, for lack of a better term, a serial entrepreneur. I mean, you started several things.
Yeah.
What led to Heroes Media Group? What made you decide that you wanted to do this? And tell us a little bit about it.
So prior to Heroes Media Group, I founded Heroes Media Group in 2015, and it was kind of a rebrand from a previous company that I had started. So I started a company in 2012 with a business partner at the time. It was the first all-veteran podcast network in 2012. And it grew pretty quick. We ran that for 3.5 years. And then like any two alpha males that, have their own visions and can't agree on stuff, we decided to shut that down and just part ways. The next day I started Heroes Media Group. I was working with a couple of people out in Virginia. I was in Arizona at the time this happened, and I was traveling a lot to the DC, Virginia area, and was working with some guys out there that wanted to start a nonprofit, and they wanted me to head up a media side of it. So I started the media company, Heroes Media Group, and we opened it up to not just veterans, but what we consider community heroes, law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, educators, and then there's a clergy piece in there as well. And that was it. So I took a couple of shows from the previous venture, brought them over to Heroes Media Group, and that's how it kind of started and has grown. We're up to we're onboarding our 53rd show right now that will start in December. So it's highs and lows, but I can't imagine doing anything else in life now. So,
yeah, I mean, you have some of the best people in Heroes Media Group, as far as the podcasts go. Some of them I had met before I met you. Some of them I've met since I met you. So some we met, I don't know, when we met Dave Willis, I think he reached out to me. I don't
Yeah.
even remember how that went. And then when him and I were talking, he's like, you need to join Heroes Media Group, Adam Bird. I'm like, I reached out to Adam. I met him already, but we never talked. What happened? And so I had to relook all that. Next thing you know, and no, it's just a fantastic group of people that, love supporting each other. It's kind of like that military brotherhood, like you can make fun of each other, but nobody outside's going to make fun of us type of thing. It's really, really, really a great family, man.
It's been thank you for that, saying that, because it's without you guys, it wouldn't be where it's at. It was just, for me, it was just an idea, and I'm trying to just steer the machine a little bit. You guys are the ones that run the machine. You guys give me purpose to show up every day and try to do my best so we can continue to grow this monstrosity of what, the vision is, and it's, I started it initially, the purpose of it was to change the way media was delivered and consumed without, creating, any technology or anything like that. My mentality in college was a D will get you a degree. Like, I was not book smart at all. Like, it's just, I'm being honest, I was just like, I got the piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call a doctor that got D's? Doctor, you know what I mean? So it was one of those types of, that was my mindset. But I wanted to change how the narrative of how, I always felt like the stuff that we saw on TV or we listened on the radio, it's something didn't feel right. It wasn't right. In this would have been 2016, beginning of 2017, I had an investor come to me and say, hey, I'm going to give you this amount of money and you're going to grow this. I believe in what you're doing. He's like, but we're going to change a few things. And I was like, oh, here we go. One of these guys, this ought to be fun. He's like, this positivity thing, it's not sexy. It doesn't sell. I was like, oh, really? Please tell me more. And he's like, we got to create we got to create buzz, and we got to do this and we got to do that. And again, I had a flashback from when I was transitioning out. I told him what he could do with his money, and and for me, it wasn't about the money, and people thought I was crazy. Family members were like, "You're dumb," and I was like, "Yeah, maybe so, but I'm going to continue to do this my way." It's never been about the money for me. It's always been about creating something in a sense of where we're at today, and it's taken really all of my life. I'll be 48 in March. It's taken all of my life to get to where we are today in the world. For me to think I'm going to create something in 10 years under this brand that it's going to change everything. No, I'm ignorant. I'm in this for the long game, in another 10, 15 years from now, when things start to be more positive, I'd like to think they dissect that, and they're going to see all of guys like you, everybody that was involved with Heroes Media Group, be like, what's this media group here? And who are all of these people that were involved in that? That's what changes. It's the long game that we're in it for, but that's really the purpose of it. I'm here to help other people get to where they want to go in life in a positive direction.
And I love it, Keith. And when Adam and I talked, he even told me, he's like, look, man, this is my personal number. Call me anytime. Even if you don't join us, I'm here for you. That's the kind of person he is. And, it's just, I think it's a great platform for us to be on as a podcast and as an organization.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what the organization's doing. And I mean, the fact that he gave you his number, I think, is quite fitting, because I'm just going to stop right now, because anybody listening or watching this podcast, put in the comments or reach out to me. I don't care. Tell me that one of these two gentlemen was not adopted, because I don't know if they see it, but you two could be brothers. The high and tights, the goatees, just the build. I'm looking at
Adam's pretty tall.
That's
too.
Such a great setup, Keith. Like, I wasn't even thinking that until I was like, you started talking. I was like, oh, I see where he's going with this. And then
one of you is adopted. So I don't know if you've done the DNA test yet, but
Adam was the runt of the family.
Yeah, the runt. So, but with what you're doing with HMG, like, what I mean, I can just see veterans as like the military community, even the first responder community that you involve. Like, we can be hard headed and even like you said, right? Like the positivity doesn't sell or kind of thing. So what's what's some of the unique challenges you've found with these like managing this platform for all these different vast what's the word I'm looking for? Perspectives, right? Across the veteran community.
It's keeping the negativity out. And here's the thing: we're all vets, and it's one of those, like, we let's be honest. Like, I'm not sitting here saying I'm not negative. I'm just as guilty as the next guy or gal. But when it comes to doing your job and putting stuff out and putting your content out and stuff like that, like, what do you want to be remembered by? You want to be remembered by the person that was just feeding into the propaganda machine, or are you somebody that's trying to change the narrative and change how people look at things? Or at least, like, listen, you don't have to agree with me, but if I can say something that just like, oh, let's look into that, and it gets you to look into something and it could be any topic about anything, but it I don't want to say forces you, but it causes you to go and research it to come to your own conclusion, that's a win. Because you're not believing everything that you read, everything that you see on the TV or on the internet or anything like that. Like, you're starting to, there's a lost art. It's called critical thinking. We've become such a lazy society that we don't think for ourselves anymore. It's like, I saw it on the internet, so it must be true then, right?
Well, AI ain't helping that either. Yep.
And it's like, seriously? Like, again, you're a guy that went through college with the mindset of a D will get you a degree, and me actually using critical thinking skills like that in itself doesn't make sense. That's, so I want, it's keeping the negativity side out, and you can't always. There's been times where we've had it on the network before, and you deal with it. It was like, hey, what's going on? That show, and I never. Here's the one thing: I never tell shows what they can and can't talk about, with the exception of there's no adult content on our network. I don't care what side of the political aisle you sit on. I don't care, what your beliefs are inside your home. It's on you. It's your content, your show. All I'm asking for is that you support one of the community heroes, and that when you do present stuff, or when you're being represented by HMG, that you be positive in some form or fashion, and don't be disrespectful to people that are on the opposite ends of what your beliefs are, because I firmly believe that we can come together. And that's another goal too, is just like, hey man, let's come together. I'm not asking for you to agree with me. I'm really not. Let's sit down, because I want to learn why you think the way that you think.
So crazy, it just might work.
And here's the thing, Shawn. I'm crazy enough to think that we can change the world. I'm that crazy to think that we can do it.
I don't disagree with you, and I've told you plenty of times. I love your approach. I love what you stand for, and I have had so many great conversations with the people that are on HMG, and several of them have been on the show, and we just have great conversations because they're people who truly care. They care about the veteran space, or well, for us on our show, it'd be the veteran space, but they care about what they're doing, and they all put their own spin on it, which is really cool. And they're not like trying to compete and put others down. They're willing to support you any way they can. And that's just, it's an amazing thing, especially like you kind of alluded to in today's society, because today's society is special. I don't know how else to put it without being quite vulgar.
It's certainly special. I'll agree with you on that. Yeah.
And
so
go ahead, Shawn. No,
I was going to say, well, what's the future starting to look like? Where do you think HMG is going to go from here?
I am gonna jump in. You answer that question, but I have a question that might kind of preempt that, because I do want you to talk about, for our listeners, and I would like to know too, like HMG Beverage, and JB Audio Clothiers, like they've also got roots in service and innovation. Like, how do those projects fit within this broader mission and vision that you have?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'll start with HMG Beverage. I like, full disclosure, the only reason why I did it is because I didn't want to pay full price for coffee anymore.
I love it. That's so veteran of you. I love it.
You know, because the last thing I wanted to do is like, oh, I'm going to be another veteran that starts another coffee company. And it's like, no, like, I have no desire to do that. I just don't want to pay full price for coffee. So
Nice.
but I was using the coffee stuff. I met a guy who's a Navy veteran, retired captain down at Quantico, and I was at a speaking event at George. I was doing a speaking event with Dora Bush at Georgetown University in 2015, and I met this guy. Started talking about coffee, great coffee, and I was like, so he invited me down. Started going through the process, and I was like, I'd like to have my own. He's like, sure. So literally, I created. He had like 25 different beans and whatnot. I created my own blend, and that's kind of how it started. And then I was like, cool. So I was doing like these little sample packs, and I'd take them at events, and I would just, instead of like getting a pen or whatever, like a little stress ball or whatnot, I was like, here, have some coffee. And they're like, are you serious? Like coffee? I was like, yeah, here, just here. That was it. That was it. And people started emailing me and calling me like, hey, I need more coffee. And I was just like, yeah, I don't do that. Like, I just do samples, but I'm not gonna. And then all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, oh, I need to start this. So I instead of creating a different name, I just kept instead of Heroes Media Group, I just went HMG Beverage.
Yeah.
Because I was lazy too. And
Official.
and that's how it started. So yeah. And then fast forward, he sold it to a couple of West Point kids, and they ran it into the ground. And my wife and I had a big conversation. We're like, we're making money on it. So we brought it in house. So I do all the roasting myself now. And,
wow.
And then we ship it, and there's a subscription model. So we got some. So that's kind of how it started. But the money the profits that we make off of this will go to nonprofit organizations. And then we work with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and they have their own blends and stuff like that. And I walk them through that process. We have we had a bourbon, and we have a gin as well. Fun fact about alcohol is that federal government doesn't like competition. So that's a little bit of a harder business line. So I'm sticking more with the coffee right now, but that's kind of how that started. JB Audio Clothiers. This is actually one of our jackets.
Nice.
I was approached by a dear friend of mine who runs a nonprofit out of Tampa, Florida. And he says, hey man, I need some help, and I want to make a for-profit side of the business. He does a veterans closet, and they suit military veterans that are guys that are transitioning out of the military, and whether you got a year left or you've been out for a year, you qualify for this. I think one year we suited like 150 transitioning veterans with custom made to measure bespoke suits and jackets and stuff like that. And
Nice.
I like nice stuff. So I was just like, I've always had this dream, like, I need to touch up the wardrobe a little bit. So he's like, if you help me with this, he's like, you pay costs for your stuff. And I was like, hello. Yeah. Like, that's a no brainer. Right. I was just like, all right, I can use new threads, and then you get to customize it the way that you want. So that's kind of how I fell into that. And so it all ties together with everything that I do. I'm in the public's eye as much as I try not to be. But when I'm out on a speaking engagement, or if I'm doing a show, a lot of the times, I either got coffee in my hand, or I'm wearing one of our jackets or one of the suits. I'm basically a walking billboard for everything that we do. But it all ties in together, and the stuff that we do with all the companies, that money goes back. I don't take any money from any of the companies. All that stuff either goes back into the companies or it goes to a nonprofit organization. So
Nice. That's amazing. All right, Shawn, your question.
Now that we've gotten the good question, let's go back to my crappy one. So,
Yikes.
so
Didn't
what's
know I
on
meant
tap for
trying to
the
undercut you.
what's on tap for the future for HMG? Where do you see this going?
world takeover.
World takeover.
That's,
All right.
yeah. I just, steady growth. It's not a, we just celebrated. This is our 10th year, this year, and we've had steady growth every year. I think this year, right now, last number I looked at was last week. We're at about a 42% growth this year than we were last year. And I'm very proud of that. And this is actually our best year that we've had as far as like new shows joining the network. Like I said, we're onboarding shows 14, 15 right now that are starting in December. Just a huge growth opportunity. But I think in I've had this conversation with some of the people that are here at HMG. We're going to hold our own event in 2026 or no 2027, excuse me. We're gonna hold an event somewhere just for the people that are part of HMG, where it's like, hey, come together somewhere centrally located. That's something I've always wanted to do, but a lot of that stuff ends up falling back on me, and I'm just too busy with everything else. And I'm not really good at asking for help either. That's probably one of my flaws. I suck at asking for help. But enough people
We
have
could be
approached
brothers.
me. Yeah. Enough people have asked me, like, hey, are we going to do an event sometime? And it's like, sure, put it together. And then they're like, oh, you want me to put it together? Sure.
Yeah.
So it's just, to answer your question though, Shawn, is just steady growth, continuing to build the network, get more exposure for the shows, and that's would require me to be out in the public's eye a little bit more, because when I'm out there, it's I'm representing the shows as well. So
yeah, awesome. All right, Adam. Well, we are at time, which breaks my heart because there's like 18 more questions I wanted to ask, but we'll have to bring you back on for sure. So I do have two parting questions, but for the first time ever, my first parting question is not for you, Adam. It is for you, Shawn, and it's not adoption related. But that so HMG Beverage, VET S.O.S blend. What does that taste like? What will the VET S.O.S blend of HMG Beverage coffee taste like? Is it super caffeinated? I'm wondering. I'm trying to envision it here.
It would definitely be super caffeinated because I need my caffeine just to get functioning in the morning. But truth be told,
a little bitter.
No. Truth be, the old me would have said yes. I would say that if we were going to do a coffee blend, we'd have to try to pull in as many bourbon-related notes as possible, just so I could continue to have something that somewhat reminded me of bourbon, since I'm not drinking it anymore.
Okay, I like that. Better than what I was thinking, which is fruity and nutty. But all right. So other last parting question, Adam, is for you. How can people get in touch with you? How can they get in touch with you to support and or join the HM Group family?
I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Yeah, you could reach out. We're on all the social platforms, Heroes Media GRP, or you can contact me directly at Mr. Adam Bird. So either one of the social platforms. You go to also visit the website heroesmediagroup.com.
Awesome. Adam, well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was absolutely amazing. We're so glad to be a part of the HMG family as of recent. So thanks for coming on and kind of telling our listeners more about what you're up to.
I appreciate it. And listen, congrats on all your guys' success. I love having you guys a part of the network, and congratulations on the recent 501 nonprofit status there. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and keep it up. So thanks again for this opportunity.
Thank
Shawn
you.
appreciates that because I don't do anything. He does it all. So like, I'm not kidding. Like I show up and I'm comic relief once a week. So
You're the pretty face out front.
well, I'm about a pretty face. There's a reason I created a brand with just the beard and a faceless face, like the face for radio. All right, folks. But on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, we want to thank everyone for spending time with us today. It's always great having everyone along for the ride. Don't forget to check out all of our other episodes and keep coming back for more stories, insight, and support from the VET S.O.S crew. And if you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow, share the show, tell a friend or two. Essentially, toss it to your battle buddies, fire team, shipmates, and wingmen so that they have a flotation device that they need to transition so no one else drowns in that sea of transition. And remember, as always, grab the VET S.O.S lifeline.